What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 12, picking up from Castle Rampart. So before you get going this episode, I would recommend making sure it is daytime. As a lot of times when you load back in it, it's going to change to night for whatever reason, as we're going to be picking up where we left off with the courtyard. There's like 20 dudes out here, and it can be hard to see. So going from our lift, you guys recall all this is wrapped up. Every item, every enemy. So we're ready to move on. Now, you could take this guy out up top again, but he's not going to, give you any grief, I would say. Alright, so when you get to the courtyard, it's filled with guys and ballistas and all types of shit. And you're in front of it all. So what you're going to want to do is run to the far left-hand side, and we can come behind these guys. Now, they'll turn around and, they're going to notice you. But we're not in front of ballistas anymore, and that's the big thing. Now, also on top of that, we're going to ignore all the items. All we're trying to do is get all these guys down first. That way we can actually cover the thing and grab it. So I think there's about 3 rows of guys all together. They're really piled up here. Okay, buddy. Thank you. Now, usually the ones that are on the ballistas don't have as much health, as you notice. Kind of smacking them once and they're getting put down. Thank you. Make sure you're actually checking all these ballistas. Sometimes you run right past them, next thing you know you're getting burned. It's happened to me. Alright. So once you put them all down, just kind of make sure no one's coming for you. It's so easy to miss them. Now we're just going to kind of go around and grab all your stuff. There's quite a bit here. There's a weapon, there's runes, crafting materials. Should be the pike, magic grease. Yeah, there's a pike. Some just like a spear type deal. And that ought to do it. Alright. Now from there, we want to go right back to where we came out of, but you're going to notice the second set of stairs. So for this, you're going to need a stone sword key. This is more for faith builds. If you guys are not doing a faith build, you're not worried about getting this. You don't have to. As I said before, I think it's good just to get everything. You might decide you want to change your build later on, or, at some point. And having access to all the items is going to do you a lot of favors, because God, you guys suck. You can actually get every stone sword key. You can have the resources to pop every door. To do this, you're going to have to do all the content and find all the stone sword keys out in the world, and you're probably going to have to buy a few from merchants too, but you can definitely pull it off, because I was not sure of this until I took notes, and I was like, well shit, I might just have to call out what the items are and then let people make the decisions. But after, I went through it, I noticed that we actually will have enough to just get everything. So, Godslayer Seal will be your next Faith Seal. It's pretty nice. It's going to boost these incantations. So, Godskin prayer books are what's known as Black Flame. So, Black Flame is better than Fire because it actually will apply what other games use as a burn status, meaning, it's going to sit on the enemy and do damage over time, right? So you have a projectile, which is like Fireball, which would be Black Flame. Really good. And then you have a weapon buff called Black Flame Blade. And although it's very strong, it sucks because it does not last but for 6 seconds. And your other weapon buffs last for like a minute. So something to keep in mind. But still very powerful in the right hands. So from there, we're going to do our balcony on the left. And we have one more over here on the right-hand side. Now, this is the same one that you could have dropped from when we went across that last episode, but I told you, hey, don't drop down on that roof, because we still had the whole front of the castle to do, right? And you would have missed it. But going up, this is going to be that great shield I was referencing. Should be right here. And we jump over to the right of the stairs for some mushrooms. Now we're going to introduce you guys to the omens. The omens can be a bit rough at first until you learn them. And then, they got Dog Bro here, so we're going to try our best to put him down first. It's a nice one-on-one fight. He's got really big telegraphed hits. Not too bad to see, when they're coming. But he's going to try to dodge, use guard counters on the right move. The punch is a good one. You usually always have enough room, guard counter before you get hit. yeah, they don't have to be bad, but they seem bad at first. You're going to notice he was guarding a little painting over here. So it's not going to take a full episode to finish up the castle. So what we're going to be doing is after we take out the main boss, we're going to have to, get you guys your first great rune. We'll solve that painting and just tighten up a lot of loose ends for the region. That way we can move on. So, we will get to that painting later this episode. Now, going up the stairs, what we're going to want to do is go to the left-hand side. This is going to be your next side of grace. Now, we've picked up a few prayer books in the last few episodes, so now that we got our side of grace, we're going to turn these in for you guys. I don't have the levels to reach the requirements yet, and I'm not going to spend all the souls it takes for these spells. They're expensive because they're good, but I would like for you guys to know your choices, and then, when we're ready for these spells, we'll be coming picking them up, because, like I said, they're quite good. We're not far off. We only need like 5 levels into Faith. So you got 2 prayer books of 1 scroll that we have picked up since last that we've been to Muriel. So you have Royal House Scroll. We'll turn that in. Get you guys more spells. Then we have 2 prayer books. Assassin's Prayer Book came from the Round Table Hold using a few of our Stone Sword keys. So that one's not particularly great. It just kind of gives you a little bit of stealth, like spells you could use for stealth. But the Godskin Prayer Book, that's something else. It's pretty good stuff. So, sorceries. We've already covered pretty much everything aside from your Carrion Slicer. One of my favorite spells in the game. You get it right at the start. Perform swift sweeping slash, use a magical sword. So you use your wand, but it just summons a magical sword that does these quick swipes, wop, 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 wop. And even in game, the damage holds up good. So it's almost like you can do a pure caster build, but still kind of use melee with it. So I like that a lot. Glint Blade Phalanx forms a defensive arc of magic glint blades. So this is what you would do before fight. It's going to cast, I think it's 5 small swords above your head. As you're fighting the enemy, those are also firing off, which could help stagger them and lock them down. It's very formidable. So that's what you're going to get from it. Very good, though. Highly recommended, especially your sword, right? What the hell is it called again? Carrion Slicer. Especially Carrion Slicer. All right, so the Assassin's Prayer Book got you Darkness. Creates an area of darkness that conceals caster. But if you leave that little cloud of smoke, you're able to be seen again. So it's situational in its uses, but, we have picked it up, so it's okay. Assassin's Approach, which I think we started the game with anyway, so you got those. We've already had the lightning spells, but you got these down here. So that's a 17 faith requirement, not bad. Enchants right-hand weapon with black blade. What it doesn't tell you is it only lasts for fucking 5 seconds. But it's really powerful. Black flame works best against enemies with large health pools as it does HP percentage base damage. Meaning if, the enemy has so much health, it does 2.5%. So it's really good at bosses, elite enemies. Not so good on smaller enemies because you're going to put them down so quickly. Black Flame does the same thing, but this is a projectile, so we can use this as much as we want. We can charge it up. I love this. If it lasted as long as this, you'd probably just be too powerful, which is why they limited you. But yeah, really good. We will be swapping out our Flame Sling for your Black Flame Ball, for sure. It's just about getting the stats and getting the levels to do so. Either way, guys, from there, we're going to jump back to Cliffside Chamber. Yeah, I want to try to cover these scrolls and prayer books as we get them, but as I knew we had to jump through this episode anyways, we kind of just put it off for a minute. Alright, either way, guys, from the cliffside, going back out, that's obviously the courtyard, we're going to go to the right, which seems like a dead end, but it's actually not at all. So let's go and grab your smithing. Make sure you're full health, because you will take a little bit of damage here. Not a big deal. Then we're going to drop, grab your smithing. Alright, so right away all you have to worry about is some rats. There's one bigger one, but still not really much of a challenge. And then we're going to get to a little bit tougher of a fight. Alright, come on, big boy. Thank you. So this scarab is going to give you what's called a death sorcery. Now, what's wild about death sorcery is just so limited in the game. In the base game, there's 2 of them. This is Faith Int, so very obscure build type. And while death sorceries are really cool, because I think they build up like Frostbite, they use Ghost Flame, They're really cool. There's just not many. Now, if you included the game and DLC, and you did all of it, all the content, and got every Death Sorcery spell going into New Game Plus, yes, you could have a good Death Sorcery build, but just don't expect too much from it. You get Rancor Call, and then I think you get like Ancient Rancor Call, and then there's one weapon that does Ghost Flame that goes with that, the Death Sorceries, which is called Death's Poker. We get in Kaled, so you technically could put a build together, just would not have many options. However, it is very unique and worth mentioning. But from this point forward, we're about to drop down and fight another ultra tree spirit. The guy we fought in the dungeon, I could not remember his name for the life of me at that point. But same as before. Oh, he went right for the headbutt. So really, we're just dodging his big shit, trying to use just hard charged heavies, fire. He's technically a tree, so fire's gonna do quite well. If he does the flame, you can easily, if he blows flame from his mouth, you can easily get to the side of that, I feel like. But the AoE that comes from under, that's the hard one. There it is. Remember, you can stagger him. The only bad thing is sometimes his weak point gets stuck in the ground on you, but there it is. So, not so bad, guys. You just gotta stay on him. You gotta play into his weaknesses, using your fire or ghost flame or whatever to burn him. And just, stay on him, look for your openings, and avoid his damage. Now, with him out of the way, if you run straight down, this actually ties into the lore of the game about the shattering. I forget what it's called. I think it was called Night of the Black Knives or something. So what started the whole thing was one of the demigods, one of America's children, getting killed because they were unkillable. Well, this is one of her children, the first demigod to get slain, and this is what he has become. That's why they got him down here. And right next to him is your Prince of Death's Pustel. So, like I said, a little bit of lore, and then we get an item as well. So that Prince of Death's Pustel, what this is going to do is raise your defenses to death. Deathblight is a nasty fucking status in this game. It's a meter that will build up. And if this status fully fills, no matter what your health is, you just die, even if we're at full health. So it's really nasty. There's that talisman, and I think there's one or two more that are going to boost your resistances to it. Now, there's not many enemies that do it, but when you run into them, you will want something to help out. Aside from that, you're going to see the longest ladder in the world. It's so big you can't even see all of it. But that just takes us somewhere we've already been, so we're just not worried about it. So instead, we're going to jump back to left side. I feel like we can pull a level here. We will need a little bit more. I think that'll do it, though. Remember, every time you grab a level, it goes up a little bit. I think like 800 runes every time it's going to go up. Yeah. There we go. Now we're back up to 7 with 2 mana flasks, so we're looking good there. Our health's looking good, too. Remember, I said we're only going to bring it up to 40 now. We'll bring it up to 50 later in the game. So we're almost done with that. And, we put a touch into stamina. Then we'll start staying in our damage pretty much the rest of the game, besides just putting a couple of mines here or there. So we're looking really good stat-wise. I told you, before you leave your first region, you'll almost have all your base stats done. It's crazy. That usually takes like the first half of the game in Souls Likes, dude. Even more a lot of times. You don't get your damage like to the last third of it. So this is, it's really nice how it comes together. You're going to be so high level if you do all the content. No farming, will almost be level 200. I shit you not, it's crazy. I'm almost 175 on the head every time if you do everything. So, yeah, we'll be in really good shape, guys. Dual stat build easily. Alright, so we fought one of these guys before. You guys know how irritating they are. Because you just can't really get to them. And then, obviously the fire. Not only you gotta deal with the sword bullshit, you can't get to them. You got fire. Thank you, annoying fuck. I wish I had some kind of, easier way to take them down. Fact of the matter is the positioning just really sucks with them. Alright, now before you go forward, right over here is Nepheli. We've briefly discussed Nepheli. We've discussed how she has a quest line that interacts with Kenneth Heights and Gustok, which you met, right? And to do all of their quests, you gotta keep them all alive and make sure you get all your steps done. So what we're gonna do is just exhaust her dialogue.
I'm certain I'll pass fellow down whatever road takes us to the throne of Elden Lord.
That's the line of dialogue you need to see. If you do not see that, she's not going to move to her next spot. So down whatever road leads to Elden Ring. So once you have that, you can summon her for the boss. And I know some of you are probably like, oh, I don't need to summon. And that might be true. However, if you do not summon her for the boss at least once, you're going to miss out on her quest line. You're going to miss out on a really nice early game talisman. So it needs to be done. Now we're just going to get our golden seed. Now there's Mr. Troll we're going to use to break that statue we showed you guys earlier. But first, let's get all of our stuff. Alright, so we are going to have to take out the little guards. He could help with that too, honestly. We'll just have to see how it goes. Yeah, I think we'll probably have him down for his real concern. Yeah. Alright, now the thing of it is you got to keep him close. Straight too far is just going to de-aggro, right? And it can be a little tedious with to lead him all the way back. There he goes. So, you don't have to just lead him there while he attacks. He'll start jogging up a bit. But he's got to watch your pacing. Only Elden Ring has shit like this. Isn't it great? I mean, this is wild shit, bro. Come on, buddy. Now remember, we still have the dog over here. We still have Mr. Omen over here. We've got to be cautious, guys. As I said, if the troll can get to the dog, he's pretty much done. There we are. Oh, no. Remember, we need the troll alive, guys. No. Fuck. After all that was an embarrassing death there. I was too dependent on the troll knocking him out, and I should have rushed up and finished him. And, you know, that's what we get. Alright. Let's see if the thing even got broke. If it did, we'll just grab our shit and be on our way. Yeah. Just so we don't have to run through that again, guys. If it, you know, hopefully you guys just got it done. We do have a lot to cover this episode. There's no need to go through it again. But yeah, if it wouldn't have broke, we would have. Thank you. That's what I'm going to start doing. Use him to get rid of the fucking bird, because he's not too bad. Once you know what to do, he's not that bad. He definitely took that bird out like it was nothing, didn't he? Oh, one more. Little rough, guys. Alright, so we are going to have to do this again. Not lead him away, but we're going to take them out. And honestly, we could just run past them first side of grace. Thank you. Good day. Hey, you should have went down. That was 2. What about now? Really? I feel like he's cheating the system a bit. We know it's 2 charged heavies critical. 3 still didn't break him, so. Not only did 2 not break him, and then 3 didn't break him. So I will say this, for anyone newer to the game, is it caught me a while to learn this, but when you're trying to break some enemy stagger to get critical attacks, and you're like, I know for a fact it's 2 or 3 charged heavies, and then it doesn't, if you start waiting too long in between, that bar, it's invisible, but that bar, the stagger bar, will start to come back. So over here, just to talk about for a second, that's your main boss. Main boss of the castle, main boss of Limgrave in total, first main story boss. When you're here, make sure you see the summon sign. That's for Nefeli. If this is not here, you do not exhaust your dialogue. You're going to miss out on your quest. You're going to miss out on a talisman that you're really going to want. So, make sure all that's up to date before moving forward. Now this is just gonna get you another one of those wind ashes of war. Now wind ashes of war, the storm crawlers, stuff like that, they're cool, but it kind of just gets forgotten about. To be honest with you, because other ashes of war outclass it. As far as the storm build, I'm sure you could do it, but you'd be using items from the early game. And me personally, I forgot all about them. With no time, like start getting other stuff. And these guys aren't bad as long as they're not staggering you. You can stagger them, but you can't get any critical attacks. There's nowhere to get it. That I know. Maybe from the other side, but yeah, not too bad. These are the jar people, such as Alexander you met a while back. Jar. So your cracked pots you're going to get anytime you see these guys. It's a good way to stock them up. Obviously, you can buy some too. I think you can only have 10 equipped at a time. So as long as you have 10, you're good. Unless you're trying to craft like different statuses, like have something for frostbite, have something for fire, have 10 of each. They're not bad to have on. Since I use faith builds so much, I just don't really have a use for like, because we're doing fire. We can make fire pots. That would go with our build, but we have range. So just, don't have much of a use for them. But we could make some for, like, a different status, like Rancor or Poison, and, we can keep those on a quick access and just get to them quickly. So it's just different stuff you can do. Either way, guys, before we go through that door, you're going to come up top. And this can be a little tedious because when you try to jump, that little column will get in your way. So you have to try to catty corner this, jump at an angle, if you will, and it could be a little tedious once you've done it a million times like me. Not so bad. So going down, we have another very elite knight. We're gonna try to backstab him. Now this is just a regular bird, doesn't mean he's not annoying, but no fire, right? No fire to contend with. Lump of flesh. We're going to go back up to your left. Now, this is actually the last little section to the castle. I know it feels like it keeps going and going and going, but we're about there. So as soon as you get up here, we're going to go to the right first. Sorry to look at my notes for a second, because I was like, I know there's something else here, but as you're smithing 3 of those. So getting to the Legacy Dungeon, you notice you're starting to get more than just smithing once now. I mean, hell, you even get a few 3s here. So it's starting to set you up, give you what you need for upgrades. Should be a door on your right. Smack him. Smack him. Roll off. Just to the left. Smack. Smack. Smacky, smacky. It's all common, there's nothing too crazy. Right here is your Manor Tower Shield. It's actually a phenomenal great shield. They'll hold you for the whole game if you like it, or at least, till way later when you get something better. This is a note. If you see a note shining like that, that's left by From Software. Surely what you seek is somewhere close by. Pretty much saying, hey, you're going the wrong way. You need to be going back to Godrick. And I thought maybe there's something more going on here. Like there's an invisible bridge, and I've tried everything. There's nothing here I found, but the way this area looks, where it's at, and that note, to this day, 1,000 hours in the game, I feel like there's something here, and I just cannot find it. Now, heading down, you actually do need to jump on the sledge to get that rune. And we're going to go on out. You got to go to the left side first. That way you get your shortcut. As soon as we go to the right and close this area out, you are actually, going to be dropped down, and there's going to be no way to get that shortcut, which you probably never need. I guess it's just a way to come back out here. I think all that's left is 3 bats as far as enemies go. Atria leaf. Hit him. There it is. Sometimes your range is hard to tell. Stop moving, you little shit. Thank you. Good God. Used a whole mana bar to take out a fucking bat. Isn't that great? Either way, once you have that, you're fully wrapped up. This is, where we originally dropped down from, right there. And these are those beams, so there's nothing really to do. I guess it's just another way to get to the bottom if you missed it. Maybe this is even the real way to get to it, because you'd run, you'd jump, you wouldn't take any fall damage. But the way I took you is just the way I've always done it. Alright, guys. So with that, there's only really one thing left, and it's not worth your time. You don't have to do it. All we're going to do is grab a shortcut we're never going to use, just because I want to make sure, we're doing 100%. But if you go out this door to the top left, that's the lift chamber. So just, so you have all paths and all that stuff, but there's nothing that's going to be missed. There's nothing to really worry about or do here. So it just brings you back to the lift side chamber. But like I said, I want to make sure the castle is actually 100% done. So with that caught up, we're moving into your first main story boss, your first demigod, Godrick the Grafted. So Godrick the Grafted, we did talk about the lore pertaining to him last episode. So just to kind of recap, he's a demigod, the weakest of the demigods. Not really respected by the other ones. He's a really nasty guy. So he's got Gustok running around, finding him dead bodies, getting people killed to bring him body parts. And he sews these onto his body. He grafts them. So he's covered in arms and legs and all this crazy shit. Mainly he has a great axe, but he's got another axe in his offhand too. So he could just do a lot of wide swipes, crazy combos where he comes at you like a madman with it. Stomp the ground, which kind of rumbles the ground, breaks a bunch of stone up under your feet. Then he'll also do that slamming his axe into the ground. So if he slams his axe into the ground, it's a huge AoE breaking up all the gravel. Then he'll pull it up, so it's going to be another one. You just want to be careful, watch that, watch your dodge times. However, we have Nefeli, we have summons, we have Ashes of War, we have all types of stuff we're going to use. So with Nefeli, all we're really trying to do is let her distract. We're rolling through his bullshit. If he jumps up in the air, it's really delayed slam down. Just roll through it, try to get behind him, and put off damage. The only other thing in phase 1 he's going to do is throw his axe into the ground, kind of sideways, and chuck it up, which is going to throw wind and rocks at you. This will come twice. It's hard to dodge, so, if you're worried about it, just try to block through it. Now, phase 2 gets interesting. He's going to cut off his arm, and he's going to attach a dragon head to it. So while his moveset's mainly the same, he's going to now have a dragon that's going to blow fire at you. So phase 2 will always open up the same way. He's going to hold his arm out, going from, I think it's left to right with the dragon blowing fire. And you're going to want to stay back from it, but what you should do is rush him, because the dragon head is so long that if you're right up on him, it can't hit you. Besides that, it's the same fight with fire. However, the dragon can do a grab attack. Now, this will make more sense to you in it live, but one thing I like to do for our guides is to make sure we verbally break it down. So while you see it for yourself, you're like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. Just trying to make it easier to explain. Because sometimes these fights go so fast, if we try to break it down live, it doesn't work.
Dragon,
sometimes we have to break them down live. It just depends.
True-born heir. Lend me thy strength, O kindred. Deliver me unto greater heights. Well,
Godrick is a very disgusting individual. Just looking at him, he's grotesque. I guess he thinks it makes him stronger, is why he does it, but look at this.
Tarnished. Plain as a lord.
Nasty shit.
I command thee now.
So I told you guys before, when the first demigod was killed, America, who's like, the god here, she broke the Elden Ring into many pieces, which were all shards. So all of these guys don't want you to restore the Elden Ring, because the shard that they have gives them power, right? So that's what you're really seeing play out here. That's why they're also adamant about stopping you. For those of you that do care about the lore, everybody loves to say Elden Ring has no story, although it has a bunch. You just gotta know how to get to it. Let's back up. Usually we can jump after this. I think he got us first. There it is. There's that crit. Gotta bring up my daggers and start going to that for a critical attack as well. Jump. No, don't stun lock me, Godrick. There we go. So he's halfway. So he looks weak here, but get back. He can hurt you. Now this is going to be phase 2, as mentioned. He's going to cut his arm off, cut the dragon's head off, attach it to his arm. This is kind of cool. I guess we could watch it.
Truest of dragons, lend me thy strength.
Yeah, wild shit, guys. Remember, do not stay back. Rush him down. That's what throws you up, because it's something you wouldn't think to do. Like, bro, I don't want to get close to that, but really you do. Now, the grab attack's going to come from this dragon. Do not get caught by this. What he's going to do is hold you to the ground and just burn you up. Do not want this shit. Yeah. And there you go. Easy, guys. So he kicked my ass for a long time. My first playthrough, the first Souls game, didn't know anything about him, honestly. You know, played it linear, straight path to the castle, and regretted it. But, you know, there's a lot I didn't know. The thing about summons is we don't really care about summons for damage, but man, are they a very, very good distraction. They tie the enemy down, let us beat on them a bit. Now, as far as summons on my own, usually I won't want to use them like in-game when you get to the harder bosses, but still, you know, sometimes they're a part of quests, and at the end of the day they can still be very helpful. So with that done, we do have some things to do. So firstly, to go over what you got the remembrance. Every time you take out a main story boss in these games, you're going to get their boss soul, their remembrance. This usually will get you 1 to 2 items early game. It's either like a weapon or a spell. Then like late game bosses sometimes give you like 3 options. It's crazy. It's really rare. But aside from that, if you don't want anything, you could also pop the boss soul and get a good amount. Like we'll get 20,000 runes from his if that's something you would like. However, Elden Ring has also introduced a way to duplicate boss remembrances, so you can get 2 items, and we have to cover a lot of this stuff, and that's what we're gonna do. Then obviously you got his piece of the his great rune, his piece of the Elden Ring, and we'll cover that too. So, like I said, Gustok worked for him. He wasn't happy about it though. He's almost treated as a slave. So yes, he did bring him dead bodies back, and and all that, but this was under his orders. I'm not saying he's the best guy in the world, but he's not as bad as you thought he was. Buckler shields are the best shields in the game if you're trying to learn parries. Like I told you guys before, even if you don't know how to parry, you find it very difficult. If you can put in the time to learn it, they are so powerful. I mean, parry and attack, critical attack, over and over. I mean, it's a very powerful playstyle. Buckler shield is the smallest shield in the game. It's got the most iframes for parrying. It's worth a pickup. I think this is the only place you can get it, so I would highly recommend doing so. Plus, it's really light, so you could use a regular shield to do guard counters, and you can just switch to this for certain enemies that are easier to parry. So I like that about it as well. Aside from that, just got basic stuff. If you guys want to look over it, fist weapon, consumables, stuff like that. But mainly we just want to exhaust this dialogue. Now from here, now we got stuff to do. So first thing we're actually going to do is jump on over to the Church of Pilgrimage. What I would like to do first is go ahead and solve your guys' painting. So similar to the first one, we need to find where the artist was sitting while he painted the painting. So from the Church of Pilgrimage, if you just go straight behind, it should be right here, right across that waterfall. Just kind of on the slab there. And there you go, Warhawk Ashes. Now, you could have your annoying little bird bro to help out. Then we're going to jump on down to Isolated Merchant's Shack. So we haven't showed you boss remembrances yet, but I'd like to go over duplication first. That way we don't have to keep jumping back and forth. So you're going to see mausoleums over the world. There's some mausoleums to duplicate early boss remembrances and some to duplicate later boss remembrances. So I think the bell on the bottom is for those for the early bosses. Now there's a lot of mausoleums in the world. Some don't do shit. No, it's not that they don't do shits for later games, so nothing shows up. That's right. Sorry, forget what I said. There are all types of mausoleums. The ones with the bell, early game bosses, you will find some without a bell. This is for late game bosses. However, if you haven't fought any late game bosses or dropped them, you'll try to duplicate a boss remembers and it doesn't show up. That's why I said it does nothing. It won't show up at all. So it's just something to know. I would, if I was you guys, I'd drop all of them. As far as what boss remembers to duplicate, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do. In your own time, drop the mausoleum and duplicate boss remembers. There's just no point of covering it because that's up to y'all's preference at the end of the day. But you're going to notice this guy's skulls on the bottom of his feet, right? That's what you're trying to break. You're breaking enough. You don't have to break all, but if you break most, as soon as you break enough, he's going to come down. Now, they're not always on the bottom. Sometimes they're on the top, and you have to get creative to find a way to break them, like a little arrow or jumping off some big ledge to get to them. First few are pretty easy all around. Stomp at you. He can kill you. Even though he's not an actual enemy, he can definitely kill you guys. Big dude. Big dude. Yeah, some still a little high too. Very those heavy attacks to reach it. It makes you work for it, guys. It makes you that will be enough now. Come on. You want this extra attention today? Check our time, guys. Okay, we're good. It's quite a few things. Alright, so as mentioned, he's going to come on down. Then you're going to go up. You're going to find the coffin of, I think they call them the elder gods, the outer gods. So this is a coffin dedicated to him. Now, go in here, like I said, you can just go through. If you have a bunch of boss remembrances, go through which one you want to duplicate. These can only be used once per mausoleum. So now that I've duplicated godricks, we cannot use this again, right? It's done. That's it. But there are so many throughout the world, you will have enough. And then into the DLC, there's a way to do it over there as well. Alright, now from there, we're actually going to be jumping back to Limgrave Tower Bridge. So we briefly talked last episode that every time you take down a demigod, you're going to get a great rune. Great runes give you power, so to speak. We'll show you. But they're no good until you activate them. So, Godrick's will be right here. When we take out Radon's, we'll have to activate his right here. When we take out this one, it is a tower, but it's different. It gets activated differently. Actually, don't even need to activate it. But, you got Margit, and you have his brothers over here. You have Rykard's right here. Millennia's is over here. But they all make a perfect symmetric circle, right? But that's the thing. You have to activate them. So what we're doing now is just getting you guys your first great rune. It's actually one of the best ones in the game. What it does is I think it gives you 5 or 10 levels to every stat. Every single stat. Health, mana, stamina, strength, dex, faith, and everything. Gives you like 40 levels. Now it lasts until you die, so it's like being embered from Dark Souls 3. So while you don't have to fight these guys, I think we'll pick up like 3,000 runes, spend the time to take them out. Now the guy at the very end, like I said, the one at the very end is using great arrows, and sometimes he'll knock these guys down for you, and then you just get critical attacks. Your eye friend, his great arrows hit them, and still stagger, still do damage. And if he hits you with his arrows, it's not going to do that much damage, it's still good. There's 2. Luckily, they're so susceptible to critical damage. If you can stagger them once in the early game, they're probably, getting put down. Now, on the way to him, you're going to notice right over by this pillar, it kind of goes downhill a bit. I felt like I dodged perfectly. But either way, we're going to go down here and pick up your first warming stone. So this is going to be a consumable that you could throw in the ground. And look at that. Isn't that cool? Kind of overlooking it. You throw this on the ground, it creates a sigil. As long as you're in that sigil, you're going to be getting gradual health restoration. They're really nice. There's a few uses way later. Miles of cord. I showed you guys that too for everyone tuning in late. A very powerful playstyle is, you know, shield and then your main weapon, then having that in your offense. So when you break enemy stagger, you switch to that and you do critical attacks, and you're going to get a lot of fucking damage. Because if you notice critical 100, then you go to like a regular dagger, critical 110. So it's got that 110 modifier. The cord has critical at a 140 modifier. You know, it's 140%. So it's 40% higher than any regular weapon. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. But you do have to upgrade it. So right now our weapon may still be doing more critical damage, but once this is fully upgraded with the right Ashes of War and right affinities, it's going to offer a very, very powerful playstyle. And I do like to recommend little stuff like that, because this is things you're going to overlook that you might not know. I know I didn't for hundreds of hours, so I didn't even think of it. Now, as soon as we go across, you don't have to kill all these guys, but we do want to go get a foul foot. This is something... As I mentioned, I have like 1,000 hours in the game. I didn't find this until I was taking notes for this walkthrough. I shit you not. I did not know it was ever here. Isn't that crazy? I never even thought to turn around this bridge. It's broke. I was like, well, surely there's nothing over there. But when I, you know, get ready for a guide, we check every corner. You know, it's just what you do. Make sure we don't miss anything. And I found that. I was like, holy shit, there's no fucking way I missed an item I never found before. There's actually... Well, for how big the game is, there's not many items I missed. I think there was 2. But with how many playthroughs I've done at 100%, it's, you know, it's saying a lot to miss anything. So I said, don't worry, we're going to get you guys all the secrets, all the items, and show you a lot of really cool things along the way. We know it all. We love it all. Divine Tower of Limgrave. Your first Divine Tower. Now, the other thing, too, is with Divine Towers, they seem so massive, and they are massive structures. However, there's nothing ever going on, aside for one. Mainly, there's nothing going on besides your great room. That's it. You know, you just ride an elevator to the top. It's a big, empty space. No items. No enemies. There's one, you get to go through a puzzle. There's like, the whole building turns upside down. It's wild. And there's like one main enemy outside, and then there's one that's kind of like a legacy dungeon, but most of them are just going to be empty spaces like this. You will never need to come back ever, but just grab your, you know, sights of grace. Always taking the view. Wild shit. Wild, wild shit. That's actually the capital right over there. It doesn't look like it, but it is. Oh, yeah, it does. Yep. Actually, a lot farther than it looks, though. If this is your first time through the game, I cannot wait for you guys to walk through the capital the first time. It's incredible. So going on up, you're going to see Restore the Power of the Great Room. So you got to have the Great Room, you know, that's specific to that power, obviously. But once you go up, you're going to activate it, and you're going to get trophies. Now, I haven't called out trophies too much, guys, because, you know, if you follow along in order, you'll get your platinum. But, I mean, most are obvious. Boss fights, first time you make it to Round Table Hold, bring your weapon up to +10, get all legendary weapons. That's a trophy. All legendary talismans. That's a trophy. All legendary spells. Incantations is a trophy. Legendary summons, all that. Then you have activating your first great runes, a trophy. So like I said, they're mostly pretty obvious. That's why I haven't really called them out, because some people may get trophies at different times, but you know, I feel like that was worth to mention. Now, jumping back to the Round Table Hold, for one, if you go right here to the center, this is just gonna, any side of grace does this, by the way. You can go over here to great runes, and you can activate this one. So you notice it says raises all attributes. Now if you look by your health bar, remember that empty box on the left? That's where your great rune's going to go. Now since you took out your first demi-human, you're going to notice that this door is now open. So for one, if you go over here, this is the 2 fingers. This is, the lore is so confusing. But the two fingers are pretty much the avatar for the greater will, the proxy, if you will, for the greater will. The greater will is like the god of it all, right? So the two finger gives guidance to the tarnished. You know, this sanctioned people, it gives us, guidance. So um, he's right here. So Rapture, when you interact, it gets confusing. We'll get into it more, but it's kind of confusing.
You've
There's
done
whole
well.
lore dive videos that
And
are
let
online.
them
Now she's gonna say a mouthful, but we do need to interact and go over all this.
To become
let them.
And she's just telling you, to become Elden Lord, you need to take out all the demigods, get all the great
Okay,
runes,
is
restore the Elden Ring.
I will defend.
All right. So later on, when you take out like I guess more humanoid bosses, not always demigods, sometimes regular bosses, but she'll have really good armor she'll sell, and we'll pick it all up. But that's not going to come because Godrick, ain't a bunch of shit grafted on him. There's no armor to get. Here's just dialogue about the great
The
runes.
children tainted by the strength of their runes. Her children warred, but none could become Elden Lord. And so grace was extended to your kind, the tarnished. Listen, the fingers speak.
The greater will has long renounced the demigods. Tarnished, show no mercy. Have their heads. Take all they have left.
Indeed, the godrick, the
Just to kind of show, she's talked about it a bit. But either way, guys, from here, now you have two options. Well, you technically have three. So, like I said, you have the Axe of Godrick. So, typically, if you would not have duplicated, you'd have to pick one or the other, right? But the Axe of Godrick, really decent quality weapon, right? But that's all it really is. It's decent. Remember, it's a somber weapon. You're only going to be able to bring one somber weapon up to plus 10, fully upgraded, until like the very, very end of the game. So you only have like really one chance of something that you could use your whole playthrough, and this is not going to be it. There's going to be a better choice. The Ash of War isn't that spectacular. It's just what he was doing. I command thee kneel, so you just slam the ground, do an AoE. I mean, it's okay. It could interrupt enemy attacks, for sure. But at the end of the day, with how limited resources can be, I would not upgrade this. You got 22 dex, 34 strength. It's definitely a quality weapon. It's okay. Aside from that, Dragon. This is a fist weapon. Unique. Ash of War is pretty crazy. Bear witness. Mainly... No, actually, it's pretty close split between physical and fire. So it's going to be faith quality. So, I mean, it's okay. If you like them, get them. If not... Like, me, myself, I'm not worried about those. There's no trophy for getting every boss weapon in this game, at least. So, if you don't want either, what you can do... Pop that. Pop that. Now we're running around with 50,000 souls. You see what I'm saying? Now, typically, I'm more of a completionist, meaning I like to get everything. I like to get absolutely everything. Try to get all the boss weapons, all the boss spells, all the boss armors. But your first playthrough, I think it's best to just worry about your character. Get your character set up, get all your equipment fully upgraded, get the best armor, get your levels right. Then New Game Plus, try to, get all the items. This is up to you guys. But, I mean, obviously, if it's something you don't care about, you might as well get the levels, guys. Just look at that. Now we have 4 levels left. Then our health is done until around the capital. It's a long time. This, we'll just throw a level in here and there. This, we want to get 10 more levels in. But we'll probably, just get that to 40. I want to try to make sure we get that up for requirements. Maybe raise that for requirements just a bit. Then we'll probably just, throw those 10 levels in and be in damage for the rest of the game. It's smart. But that health is almost done. And I think that's just a really, really good point to be. Now, once we have that done, if you go over here, you're going to notice Nefeli is now here. So if, and only if, you summoned her for Godrick, you can come on over.
Nefeli Lu, I'm glad to see you. I found it in God. You defeated. Make good use of. I don't intend.
Arsenal Charm. This is going to let you carry more weight. So that will kind of, add to your stamina. So you don't have to worry about it just yet, right? You can put that on, gives you more weight limit. So it's just really nice to have. Actually, it's actually a pretty big jump, to be honest. Pretty big jump. Let's see if we can get away with some stuff here. Yeah, we're medium there. That was pushing my luck. I figured it would be. But look at that. Really, really nice looking set, though. And we'll need more weight for sure. But until we do, I think that'll be a nice option. That'll carry us over a bit. Now, keep in mind, if you have not gone through the roundtable hold and exhausted everybody's dialogue, she's going to go tell you to find her father and talk to her father. Her father is Gideon. We've already talked to Gideon, so, we're just not worried about it. But yeah, if you haven't talked to Gideon and sent him to this room, she's not going to give you that item until you go through his steps. Now, before we close out, as we are caught up,
You've received the wisdom of the two fingers.
you could actually get more story elements from Gideon.
I'm accumulating now below.
So I guess just to cover this in lore real quick, get it out of the way. All Tarnished have the same goal to become Elden Lord, and they're not really against each other. Someone that is Tarnished needs to be Elden Lord. So he has his way. He tries to accumulate all knowledge in the world. He's the all-knowing, and that's what he does. That's how he thinks he'll become Elden Lord. She's Tarnished, so she's trying to be Elden Lord. We're Tarnished, we're trying to be Elden Lord. Every Tarnished, that's what it is. So essentially what happens is the Outer God and the Greater Will, the Greater Will gives one person godhood, which was America, right? They backed her. She was known as an Empyrean. Empyreans are those who can be gods. So they chose her. She had kids. Then, one of her children got killed. She snapped. She broke the Elden Ring. They all got shard pieces, and they're all kind of pieces of shit. So now the Greater Will has turned its back on all of them, and that's why you were hunting them down. And there's more lore that goes with it, but that's the basic run of it. Yes, America is a god, but that godhood came from them. Now, if you're, wanting, some knowledge, so he'll talk about all the demigods, or at least a lot of them. So Godrick, Radon, Rykard, Morgoth, Renala, Nepheli. You notice you're not seeing the Millennia on here. She comes later. So it's as you discover knowledge about people, right? So you can, in your own time, go through and just kind of learn more about the world. He tells you where each one is located and all that. Now, for now, because Nepheli's quest is not far away, go ahead over the dialogue about Nepheli. I think that would be smart. Aside from that, we're done. There's one fight that's over here, but it's pretty tough. We'll give it a run real quick. Just know, if you can't get past this guy, you can't get your souls. So I would spend your souls first. The guy uses blood loss, he uses frostbite, he uses quite a few things. Over here is Rajier. We met him at Stormville. It's exhausted his dialogue. So he just has the Ashes of War. You tell him about Godrick.
Well done. Something to mark.
Then you get his rapier. Then that corpse we found. So his quest is going to tie into Dee's quest. Is going to tie into Fia's quest, the lady that gives you the hugs. Now I'm not going to go over this dialogue now. Just to make sure you exhaust it. But we will, touch back on this once we get into the quest, which is about mid-game. So it's going to be a while.
Dee is an old friend. We found ourselves, but our paths have... Though that's hot. Dee was telling that he discovered the centipede. As long as... Then we may be... If only I could speak, and if they...
Alright. So before we close out, we're going to give this guy a run. We can't beat him right now. Don't hold it against me. He's not like a boss. He's just an invader that is pretty tricky. Like I say, he's going to be using Frostbite and Blood Loss. That is a nasty combo. Both of them are so bad, Frostbite projectiles. Yeah, he'll get you. It might not be ready just yet for him. Good God, dude. Yeah, it's either, you're too high level, you come down here and spank him, or he does you like this. In midair. Oh, thank God. He only gets 1 heal. So sometimes invaders will get, I think Elden Ring only get 1 heal. Dark Souls will get like 3 or 4. Unless it's a player invader, they get like 4. No, no. We're so close to getting them, guys. God, that was close. That was so fucking close, man. So Tanner's Tongue. This is a permanent item that could lay down invasion signs to kind of taunt people into invading you. Now, with him out the way, that'll bring you back up top. Before we do that, and like I said, just, you know, a few loose ends we're going to be doing, so we don't have to worry about it later. This one's actually very easy to forget about. But either way, you can follow this around. Then right here is a faith weapon. It's a fist weapon, Cypherpata. It's pretty cool, though. It's pure holy. It can get through shields. So it's, let's see if we can show this real quick. It's wild. But the thing of it is it's a nice offhand weapon because it has no weight. It has a 0, you know, weight requirement. So you don't have to worry about it weighing you down. Did I pass it? It looks so odd. So you see, it's just holy, no physical. I don't have the requirements to use it, but because it's just a fist weapon, you can two-hand it. So it's a good offhand, simply because of the fact that, you know, there's no weight. So it does not weigh you down anymore. So just another cool option for you guys. So either way, with that, what we're going to be doing is picking up next episode from Godrick the Grafted. There's still one little path that leads out, but it leads into Liurnia, so I would like to just save that for next episode so everyone knows, you know, the items, because there's a quest item along the way. It just keeps everyone from being confused. But either way, guys, with that, we are going to go ahead and wrap on up. So as always, I hope the walkthrough has been helpful, and we will catch y'all back here shortly.